How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys are having a great day so far. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm in a super amazing mood today. Last week was absolutely crazy. We had a whole bunch of studying to do and tests, and there were things to write up, but I'm totally done everything. So for once in the last little bit, I have no outstanding research to do, no readings to catch up on. What I'm going to be doing right now is driving from my house in Vaughan up to my place in Niagara Falls to get a little bit of landscaping done. So I just got up to my house in Niagara Falls. It's about a 5-minute drive from where I go to school. And what I'm going to be doing today is cutting the grass, taking care of a few yard keeping things like the trees and the bushes. And then I'm going to go inside and just do some general housekeeping things. So I actually bought this house about a year ago when I first got into medical school. And at the time I bought it with my parents. But what I wanted to do today was, first of all, give you guys a house tour of the entire place, which is something that I want to do for a long time because it is a small little house, but I am super proud of it. I also want to talk about how I was able to afford a house in medical school. And then finally, give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of owning a house as a student. So we're gonna start off with a tour of the outside of my house because I think this is like my favorite part. I love all the trees and things that we get in the Niagara region. There is a lot of rain though, but on all of the sunny days, it's really nice to be outside. Now, my favorite part about the backyard is that the previous owners were really into gardening and flowers and things like that. So they have all of these plants that they've planted themselves and they grow back every single year. And I really like that because it's just one less thing that I need to do in terms of taking care of the property. We also have these two sheds on the property. There's this new one here and another one in the back, and we use them to keep like bikes and lawnmowers and snowblowers. Snowblowers really came in handy, especially this winter, because there was a few days where we had like 20-30 centimeters of snow. This is my favorite tree by far that we have. It's about 150 years old is what the realtor told us, which I thought was super cool. And then finally, my favorite thing that we have in the backyard is this little swing here, which was made by the previous owner. He was an old man and he made it for his wife so they could sit down on it. I thought it's really nice. It's handmade, and I love just coming out after like a hard day of studying, sitting down and just drinking some water, just enjoying my time in the backyard. Finally, this is a project that we're going to be working on next weekend actually. It used to be a fountain, but then it stopped working and the previous owners filled it in with soil. So I'm going to be digging into my toolbox, put the scalpel and put the studying away for a little bit, and I'm going to replace that with a shovel and a screwdriver and see if I could get that fountain up and running. So now we'll do the inside tour of the house. So basically this is the kitchen up here. Just some old chairs that I had from before that we got and they were lying around. This is the kitchen. This is the stove over here, just all basic things that I moved in. When I first moved in last year, we actually got the house very late in terms of like school was starting soon. So we were really just last second trying to look for whatever we can to whatever we could to fill the space. This is the living room, which is my favorite spot in the entire house other than my bedroom. TV, got Netflix hooked up, and it's smart TV too, so I can watch my YouTube videos and things on here. This couch is my favorite couch because sometimes after class I'll just come home, and if I can't make it to my bedroom, I'll just pass out here for about half an hour before I wake up, get back to work. Then if we walk down this way, it's my bedroom. There's a bathroom here. There's also another room right here that I rent out to students. So now this part here, this is my bedroom, and this is one thing that I totally want to redesign for this year when I actually move back in and class gets started, which hopefully, fingers crossed, won't be too much longer. Except for this, we're gonna keep this up here. This is the favorite thing, my favorite thing that I have in my room. That's the Master Chief from Halo, if you guys didn't know that. This is my study desk, and I need help, guys. I am terrible at decorating and things like that. I've asked my girlfriend for help, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for you guys. If anyone has any suggestions as to how I can make this more aesthetically pleasing, go ahead and put that in the comment section below, because I'm lost when it comes to decorating my room. Other things that I want to do, I think I'm going to put my piano back in this space over here. This is where I had it before. Maybe do something with this setup over here. But this is pretty much my room. This is my bed. The sleep is sacred, okay? When you guys get to medical school, whatever chance you have to sleep, you go ahead and take it. So I love this part of my room. This is just where I keep my clothes and things. And this is my patio to the outside. And which, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I actually have like plastic in between the patio sliding door in my room here. And that's because this year, I wasn't expecting this, but because it's glass, right, it's just a sliding door, it didn't do very well at keeping the heat in. So in the middle of the winter when it was like -30 outside, I was freezing in here. I would wake up at like 2-3 in the morning shivering. So ever since I put this like kind of plastic barrier for insulation it's made a really big difference. The next part of the house is the downstairs part. This is what it looks like. There's the couch area over there, another TV on the wall here. And then we have the laundry room, which is awesome to actually live in a place where there's laundry and I don't have to go down the street and get things done in the middle of the school year. Then back over here we have 2 more rooms for the students, which are both already going to be filled with new students coming in this year. I have another bathroom over here with a shower. Is there a light switch somewhere? So that's my super quick tour of the house. Like I was saying before, it's a little house, but it has basically everything that I need. And when I'm here during the year, I rent it out to 3 other students. So in total, there's 4 of us staying here, which is nice because then it doesn't get too loud and everyone gets a little quiet space to study. We all have our own rooms, but then at night we all try and hang out, especially for dinner time. So now to anyone wondering about the financial aspect of buying a house in medical school or any of these things, I remember when I tried to do some research myself, there were hardly any videos of people talking about their experience with it. So let me just kind of guide you through the process and how I went about deciding for myself. So my decision to actually buy a house was based on 3 factors. The first being was the actual location of the house itself. My house is very close to my school, but at the same time, I'm not living in a major city. Something that I'm living at right now is probably costing about $400,000, where if you would go and compare that to like a place in Toronto or one of the other big cities, had I got accepted there, you'd probably be looking at well over $1 million for something about the same size, which is crazy and definitely not something that I could afford. So I got really lucky in terms of where I'm actually going to school because relatively speaking, the real estate market really wasn't that expensive. The second reason why I was able to buy a house is because my parents were also looking for an investment property at the time, and I thought that it would be a good idea to go in kind of halves with them as business partners. When you're a student, it's very, very hard to get a mortgage, so thankfully I was lucky enough to have my parents that were able to get that mortgage, and I just had to go ahead and pay them my contribution every single month, similar to how you would pay rent. Now obviously it's more expensive if you own your own house, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. When you start off for medical school though, you get a loan from the bank, your student loans. They give you, usually it's around $300,000 that's supposed to be used towards anything that happens in medical school, including costs of living, food, your actual education. There's lots of people that go out and they'll buy a new car or they'll splurge on some new clothes and the best quality stethoscopes and things like that. I'd much rather choose to live very modestly. I make my own coffee at home, I hardly go out for dinner, and also I'm in a 3-year program instead of a 4-year program, which means that I save a lot of money on tuition, somewhere around $25,000. So what I chose to do was take that money that I'd be saving from school and invest it in the house, which I thought really was able to help with my down payment in the beginning. And finally, the third reason why I went ahead and bought my house was because of a concept that I had heard about called house hacking. And basically the way that it works is, I don't care how good of a price you get on your house, the majority of students are not going to be able to afford an entire house by themselves. So what I chose to do instead was rent out my house and also live there at the same time. During the year, I rent out my house to 3 other students and then myself, so there's 4 of us there living in total, and basically because everybody is contributing towards helping me pay my mortgage, if we're all paying the exact same amount of money every single week, I'm able to afford my entire house by individually paying the exact same amount that I would have been paying if I just would have went and rented a single room somewhere else. And at least this way, after 20 years, I would have put a lot of equity into the house after having students rent out the rooms and helping me pay off the mortgage. Also, when I move on to residency and I'm done medical school, because the house is located so close to the university, in my opinion, it's always going to be easy to go ahead and rent out those rooms in the future. So now, the good, the bad, and the ugly of being your own landlord or owning a house in your first year of medical school. Starting off with the good, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved having my own house. I like being able to take care of it by myself, and at the end of the day, coming home, knowing that the place is mine, being able to decorate it the way that I like to, and even now being able to take part in little small projects throughout the summer, because I really like being involved in that stuff. Now, I totally get that not everyone is going to be in a situation like I was in. I get that I was very blessed and very lucky to be able to have some parents that were able to help me out with the mortgage. But look into the concept of house hacking. Try and apply it whenever you can. Living with other people, renting out the rooms, and helping you pay your mortgage is definitely something that I'm going to try and do as time goes on. So now, the bad when it comes to owning your own house in medical school is that there's only so much time that you have in the day. And I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it in the future. But first year of medical school was so busy, and I hear that it just keeps getting busier. And a lot of times I'd be coming home from school at the end of the day and some tenants will have left a mess in the kitchen that I'll have had to clean up. Or sometimes I got home and there was 2 tenants that were arguing with each other, so you have to go ahead and mediate that conversation. Then when it snows, you gotta take care of that. When you gotta cut the grass, there's a whole bunch of different things that you need to do. And after a while, it really starts to stack up on you, which could be a lot easier if you were just renting a room and the landlord goes ahead and takes care of all the maintenance on the building itself. And finally, the ugly when it it comes to owning a house in medical school is that you always got to be careful of what's going on with the world. Because right now, because of the whole pandemic, it was very hard for a while to try and look into people that were going to come and rent out the rooms at my house, which had me in a little bit of a tight situation money-wise for a little bit, because you rely on those people to actually rent out the rooms if you're going to go ahead and do the house hacking. So knock on wood, if something like this ever comes up, and no one ever expects that it does, you're always in a little bit of a tight situation, and that's something that you got to go ahead and figure out for yourself. So in conclusion, would I recommend that other people went and bought a house in medical school? In my opinion, I think it depends entirely on your own individual situation. How much does the house cost? What area you're living in? And then also, how much time do you have to put into it? There's only so much time that we have in a day, guys, and when you start filling it with extracurriculars, studying, research, YouTube, and then being your own landlord, you really start subtracting from doing other things. But it's all about balance, right? Finding that time in medical school to do all the things that you love, then also setting yourself up for the future is really something that I'm trying to do my best at, really balance everything all the way across. And so far, it's been good. If you guys have any other questions about the topic, house hacking, living in medical school, different renting situations, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If this video was able to help, go ahead, smack that like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you all in the next one. I'm gonna get a second video out this week. Everyone take it easy. We'll see you next time.